Proverbs?
Proverbs chapter 25. I made a commitment this year, as I do every year, but this year's the one I thought, I'm going to actually commit to it. Is that I was going to commit to my devotions and my Bible reading and journaling this year. And I thought, you know what? And it kind of came about that it was an encouragement to a friend of mine. And so I was like, you know what? For him, if anything, obviously I need to do it for my own spiritual growth.
Yeah, for sure.
But to be like spiritual up to him, I was going to make sure that I kept doing it. And so basically what I do is I go through one verse of Proverbs a day, like each chapter. I'm going through the book Words to the Wise by Paul Chappell. Very good book.
Yeah, decent one.
And it came about to every day. So obviously the 25th, whatever. I think it was Friday night. And it is verse 5. And it says, "Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness." And the devotion for that verse and for that day was talking about removing the bad influences from our life. And how, like, Satan will do everything he can to send bad influences to get us off track in our walk with God. And that's his whole purpose. Yeah. His whole purpose in life is to send things our way, to influence our lives for the worse. But the Bible says, if you take away the wicked from the king, his throne will be established. And it's basically how we as Christians need to put away the bad influences, whether it be the music we listen to, the movies we watch, whatever it is that is a hindrance to our Christian walk. We need to put that away so that we can be used for God.
Huge. I love that.
And that
It's really cool.
I'll tell you, I didn't understand the verse when you read it. Like, it was it was
It actually had both 24 and 25. And when I read it, so 24 says, "Take away the dross from the silver, and there shall come forth a vessel for the finer." And I was like, what has it got to do with bad influence? And then basically the devotion went through how when you get silver, it's mixed with like corrupt metals, things that aren't pure. And what it's saying is, if you want pure silver, you chuck it into fire.
Yeah.
And all the impurities go away, and you're left with pure silver. And so what it's saying is once you get rid of those bad influences, you get rid of the corrupt things in your life, then you'll have that pure element. And then it followed up with that next verse: "You take away the wicked from the king, and his throne will be established."
It's good because it's so practical, right? Like, just if something's stuffing you up and causing you to sin, get rid of it.
Yeah.
But we find that so hard to do.
That's very hard.
Bro, I'm going to get real. Like, I'll get straight out. I was struggling a fair bit with TikTok. So not the fact that it was a distraction, but the rubbish that's on there. Anytime I'd be swiping through, it'd just be another video or another, just like in between. I love TikTok. The comedy on there is awesome. It's hilarious. Not saying that TikTok as an app is bad, but the things that were popping up on my feeds were just wrong, inappropriate, just absolute filth. And I just got with God and I was just like, I can't keep doing this. I can't just keep swiping through and being okay with it. And especially being an adult Christian who you've got control of what you do. You get to say what's right, what's wrong in your life. It was a battle because I was sitting there with God and I was sort of like, I don't want to get rid of this because I love TikTok. It's very funny. But it is hindering me and it's causing problems in my life. It's influencing me in a very bad way. And so I just gave it to him. I was like, you know what? Stuff it. And that moment in that prayer session, I grabbed TikTok, held down, pressed uninstall, and I didn't look back. And bro, just like this verse is saying, it impacted massively. Like, I had withdrawals or whatever you want to call it. Like, I wanted to be back on it over the next week. But then after that, I just kept praying about it. And God he took it, you know. I think we need to make decisions like that. Is that?
It's crazy how the simplest things can like influence your life.
And it's not like it's the worst thing in the world, right? Like it's what would be considered like, you know, just inappropriate, right? But still it can take a hold of you if you let it. You know what I mean? What do you think, Stat?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think bad influences doesn't necessarily... when you think of bad influences when you're growing up, you think friends.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily friends. It can be social media. It can be what's on the internet, what's out there.
It's what influences you, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, it's a very good verse. I think growing up, you know, for me, I was always trying my best to really stick to the straight and narrow. I really tried hard, especially in school. And I went very far away, many points. But there were always people there that either knew and just didn't care or didn't know better that would try to bring you down.
Yeah.
And going to school and then taking that into uni, it's just the same. And even through now, adulthood, more than ever.
Yeah.
You know, you're in control of, like you said, you're in control of the decisions that you make and the influence that you want to have. But like you said, I wouldn't have read that verse and said it's about bad influence.
Yeah, 100%.
You read it, I was like so confused. Like,
Like,
I
if
read
you
it,
saw
like, I journal it. So I have one journal, I handwrite it because I don't know, I've got these fancy pens I like to try. But then this particular one, I like type it out on my iPad and I like put the thing bad influences. Then I wrote the and I'm like, what has this got to do with being a bad influence? And then I read it and I'm like, it makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Bro, and I guess that's the beauty of Proverbs, right? Like, you're never going to always understand every verse you're reading, but when God reveals it to you, it's huge. I'm actually a huge fan of that verse right now.
Very
I'm
different.
not gonna lie,
cool.
that is the topic of my thing to the teens on Friday night.
Oh, yeah?
And bad influence, I know, I just haven't been able to shake it since I read it on Friday. Literally all day, all weeks since Friday, I've just been thinking about bad influences. And stuff like that. But the easiest illustration is fruit.
Yeah.
Right? If you have one bad apple and you put it in with 3 good apples, what's going to happen? 3 apples don't make the bad one good. The bad one makes all 3 of them.
It's crazy because especially when you think about it from an adult's perspective, like you're talking to the teens, and the teens, their parents take control of all that, right? Yeah. The parent says what you can't watch, what you can't listen to. But when you leave the house or you turn 18 or whatever, and the pressure's off you from your parents' side of things, you're taking control. So at that point, you're allowing a lot more into your life than you probably even realize. So it's at that point where you really need to say, okay, what am I going to allow in, and what's going to be my limit? And it's funny because I don't think you realize how much you allow in until it's in there, right?
Yeah. I think when you've gone down, I think as you're doing it, you think it's okay, and then you get to a certain point where you are who your friends are. If I bring it back to that, you are who your friends are. I realize I was very far from the mic, sorry.
Oh, no.
You are who your friends are. So if you're going to use an example of friends, is if you're going to continue to hang out with a bad crowd, if you're going to be around people that are going to just bring you down, either you'll always know. You'll always notice.
Yeah.
At the beginning, in the middle, towards the end, something will click. And that's all. We shouldn't wait for that point where it clicks. But unfortunately, sometimes we go down that path and we wait. Something clicks. Like, for example, it could be as something like when a mate offered me a cigarette. For example, I never took it, but it was like, okay, why am I hanging out with the guys offering me cigarettes when I should be hanging out with people that are going to just draw me to God? Yeah. It can be as little as that, you know, or it can be as major as people, you know, someone like actually taking drugs or going down as far as and then saying, okay, now I've realised what I'm doing. I've got to wake up. So
don't let that happen too late, I guess.
Yeah, just
my biggest kicker was music, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we would have our jam sessions back in the day, but
still got it.
It's true, like the music you choose to listen to, like it affects your attitude, affects the things you would say. And it was just like, I came to that realization where I was like, this is not good. Like the stuff I was saying, and the first lyrics that came to my head, like I could quote so many worldly songs, but then you asked me to quote a hymn and I'm just like, I don't know what the words are. Like,
it's just crazy, bro. I think the biggest practical takeaway is when you notice it, get rid of it. So when you notice something, ladies and gents, sack it.
And just don't let it get too late.
Yeah, and get help. Get people to help you out. Get people to help you get through it, you know?